Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the graveyard. I am joined with my co-host, as always, Travis.
Hello, everybody.
And today we find out what happens when you take the end of the 90s with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's probably off the roids at this point, as he fights the devil, who, when in his devil form, looks like P. Diddy's baby lotion turning into a monster.
Okay, come on. You don't think that's still a little too early for P. Diddy jokes?
Oh, it's the internet. Nothing's too early.
That's fair enough.
I'm just saying the first time we see the monster in that movie, the devil, or the man, because that's the credits in this movie is the man. It's the devil. He's like supposed to be invisible. So when he's moving around, he literally looks like he just covered himself in like so much baby lotion that he's was able to turn fucking invisible.
Oh my god. I mean, you're not wrong. I know what you mean, but like, come on, man.
Listen, it makes to make it even worse that he pops out of the fucking sewers of New York City. So I guess that's pretty close to hell.
Yeah, you're right.
But damn. But anyways, today, if you don't know what we're talking about, is 1999's End of Days. This movie was directed by Peter, I believe his last name, you say his last name is Hims?
Yeah, I would say
H-Y-A-M-S?
I would say hymns or hems.
Hims. The only other movies I know that he directed was Time Cop from 1994 with, and that's the only other movie I can think of that he did, and that was with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So this dude definitely had a action side focus to his directing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he did a lot in like the late 80s and 90s. Um but since the 2000s, he's directed The Musketeer, Sound of Thunder. He directed an episode of a show called Threshold from 2005, and then he did Beyond a Reasonable Doubt in 2009, and then Enemies Closer in 2013, and that's his last credit is Enemies Closer.
Yeah, so but he actually wasn't the first choice to direct this movie. Do you want to take a guess on who the other two that were approached to direct this movie were?
I read about it, but I can't remember who they
Uh,
were.
Sam Raimi and Del Toro were
Yep.
offered this movie.
But Sam
Uh,
Raimi couldn't because he was working on the Spider-Man movies, and I can't remember what Del Toro was working on at the time.
I don't know either, but this movie it started in I want to say like 96 for production wise. But it was written by Andrew W. Marlowe, I believe
Yep.
is how you say his name.
I believe
Some
that is how
people
you say it.
for those this was his second movie that he like written. The first being Air Force One, the one that stars Harrison Ford as the president, which you know what? That explains a couple things in this movie. And he also directed The Hollow Man, which was the I want that was the
The Kevin Bacon Invisible Man movie.
yeah, Kevin Bacon, that's who I was trying to think of. Invisible Man movie. So that kind of sums up what you can expect for some of the dialogue.
Yeah,
But
pretty
this
much.
movie, and as I said before, this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was not the original person they wanted to cast in this movie either. The character of Jericho, who he plays in this movie, was originally written to be played by Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And
But
boy, would that have been a different movie.
oh, it absolutely would have been if we had Tom Cruise as Jericho instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But you know,
To be fair, though, the movie that he chose to do instead of this was Magnolia, which I think might have been a better choice. I
might
have
have.
not seen that movie. I have not seen that movie all the way through. But anyway, getting into this movie, yeah, Schwarzenegger fighting the devil.
Honestly, I feel like that's just the perfect way to sum up this movie. Drunk Schwarzenegger fighting the devil, specifically.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to say that he was drunk in this movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's an alcoholic ex
oh,
cop, or is he still a
yeah,
cop?
ex-cop,
Ex
because
cop.
he's working a like a security job with his friend Chicago, Bobby Chicago. played by Kevin Pollak, who I have to say is by far my favorite character in this movie because it feels like Kevin Pollak was just on set and he was there for a paycheck.
Yeah, no, it does really seem like that.
But sometimes I feel like that gives us some of the best interactions, you know? Arnold Schwarzenegger is doing his best Schwarz acting, I'm not sure you want to call it. He kind of just he's like the first big action star that just kind of ended up playing himself in every single movie he was in.
Oh, absolutely. He played himself in Terminator. Like,
Yeah.
and Terminator is, his biggest movies that he's known for is Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But then he's also best known for like The Sixth Day and The Last Action Hero and a few other random things here and there.
Yeah, but and it's not like a knock against him. Like the uh when something's like made for him, it works in the end,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely.
And everything like pre let's see here. He became governor of California, right?
Yeah, it was Governor of California, and it was pretty much after this role.
It was- yeah. Oh no, he played a few other things. It
Yeah,
was
he
like
did. He did a few other stuff too, but like
because it
he,
was like 2004 or 2005 when he started running for that, I believe.
yeah, no,
And
it had to have been like 2005 ish, because he played in The Kid and I in 2005, and then the next credit after that is 2010 in The Expendables.
got it. Yeah, so and even in in the Expendables, he was a uncredited character at that time and
Yeah,
didn't become a full character until the sequel.
yep. But I
Um,
mean, even
but
even then, like he kind of steered into uh um politics, like looking into them pretty much right after this movie. Like he started really looking into them because his last role before this was Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin, which was an absolute flop.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But, I love me some good old Arnold Schwarzenegger, good or bad, because it's not boring.
Oh,
In
never.
fact, I would say this movie's bad, but it ain't boring. There was not a moment where I was wanting to turn this movie off. I wanted to see how much more awful it could get.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely was a movie. Like it's kind of like the train wreck conundrum of people. Like you see it and you know it's bad, but you just can't look away.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple really good things I can point out about this movie. Like a couple of the stunts, especially in the earlier half of the movie, like the helicopter one where he's hanging out of it, where Arnold Schwarzenegger's hanging out to grab a dude. Like, we can agree that's cool. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you ain't gonna find that in any other movie around that time, unless you're watching, I guess, a Tom Cruise movie, which I don't know, Mission Impossible. Like, that's the only. I wouldn't expect a movie about a man fighting the devil to be able to just hang himself out of a helicopter to grab some random dude off a rooftop.
Yeah, I mean that, and knowing the fact that he is a drunk, like you just wouldn't expect that he would be able to do that.
No, no. But I feel like another thing we really got to talk about this movie before we continue more is there's two more actors I would think are more prominent in this film. Uh, Robin
Toonie,
Tooney,
Toonie.
Tooney. Yeah, she plays Christine in this film. Who is kind of like I'm trying to figure out the right word for it. She,
The right word would be lead female.
lead female, but uh, she's kind of turned into this protective asset throughout the entire film.
Oh yeah. Well, that's because
Yeah.
like the whole like basis of this film is that the devil is trying to marry her pretty much.
Oh no, 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 no. He ain't trying to marry her.
Yeah, well, we're going to say marry as a nice way to put it. Uh because she is the only thing like stopping him from taking over the world.
Yeah, kind of. She kind of doesn't really. She's not really able to help herself in most of these situations. She's kind of a poorly aged situation with the damsel in distress, but
Absolutely. She's just kind of there and surrounded by problems.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, depending on what character's point of view you're looking at, she is the problem.
You know what? You're not wrong. Like
The,
it's
the dudes, I don't know what they were called, but the dudes that had their symbol was the heart with the dagger through it, and they were from like the church.
yeah.
I can't think of what what they're referring them to as, but I'm gonna call them the Vatican assassins.
I mean, essentially, they are just the Vatican assassins, because they're just trying to, you know, it's just never a good thing with her.
Yeah,
She is the
yeah,
problem. I completely agree on that.
yeah. This movie is more than 20 years old, so obviously, spoiler warning. But as a baby, her character was fed of the blood of a snake during a satanic ritual. That would basically say that, oh, when she becomes of age and when we get closer to the end of the millennium, because this entire movie basically takes place in the days coming up to the year 2000.
Yeah.
And so the devil's back for her. There's apparently another dude. At first, I thought he was random, but there was a side comment that we didn't that kind of was thrown away. But Gabriel Byrne plays the man or the devil in this situation, this movie. And earlier in the movie, we see Arnold Schwarzenegger's character Jericho protecting him before he gets possessed by the devil or by the P Diddy baby oil monster. So I'm trying to figure out who paid. It had been someone in the cult with money, but like I don't know. This cult had some very confusing plans on how they were to guarantee events were going to happen. Like instead of just like keeping these people confined into a location where you know you can protect them until you want this to happen, just let them live normal lives. Yada yada yada. It's okay.
Uh,
Who's gonna stop us in the end? Not the
yeah.
future governor of California.
Hey, you know what? He does his best.
He surprisingly does. He doesn't take too much convincing in this film to like. He's a reluctant hero, but he ain't reluctant that much.
No, it's very much like no, I don't really want to do it, but you should. Okay. Like he really did not take a lot of convincing to
His
actually
entire
do the right
motivation in
thing.
this film is his entire motivation is him like, hey, I'm pissed that I got shot at. Now I got to figure out why. Somebody shot me. I was wearing a vest, but somebody shot me, and now I'm pissed.
It's a very, simple premise, very simple motivation. I got
Yeah,
shot. Who the fuck shot me and why? I feel
yeah.
like that's a pretty good. Uh,
He's also, to be fair, he was also depressed, so he's probably more pissed that someone was about to beat him to it.
oh yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
Uh,
For though, sensitivity warning. Uh, there's a couple moments earlier in this movie of Schwarzenegger about to commit suicide, and then he commits it on his gut later with that shake he makes where he's like throwing like Pepto Bismol, I think it was a peel of a banana or something, and a bunch of like other liquor and other liquids into a blender.
yeah,
It looked nasty.
it is nasty. It's the hangover cure. It just gets you more drunk.
Yeah, great. The Pepto Bismol keeps it so you don't throw up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's just a miracle drug.
I still hate Pepto, and I still don't know how you take it.
My friend, it is a miracle drug,
I
okay?
don't care. It tastes disgusting.
If there's anything wrong with your gut, just fucking down it, okay?
No, I don't
You'll be
want
fine
to.
in the end. You'll be fine in the end. It's okay. It's really okay.
Also,
And you need to take a chaser with it, okay?
okay, we're gonna stop talking about Pepto. So
Please sponsor me.
what are the Jesus Christ, no. So like the other thing, like the tagline for this movie is the ultimate battle between good versus evil. I wouldn't say good versus evil. I would say evil versus meh. Cause like
Yeah,
he is the reluctant hero. He does some shady shit.
yeah. He does some pretty shady shit in this movie. Mostly Uh, I like how his first response to the dude on this when he like when he gets the guy after he dropped him from the helicopter and he chases him down to the subway station. His first response is after he can't understand the dude, to just shoot him in the leg.
Literally, like that's not what you should do there, Arnie. Like, come on, man. You gotta ask questions if you don't understand him. Fucking
Uh,
try to. Don't just shoot the guy.
And they also never explain how he is able to understand the dude because he doesn't have a tongue. And they don't explain later when he's able to see the maggots in the apple. They don't ever give an explanation to why.
Yeah, it's
It
just
just
like oh, that guy talked to you? Yeah, he doesn't have a tongue. Oh?
yo.
Like, okay, can we have an explanation, please? Like, what the fuck?
Uh, Also, can I going back to the idea of me saying that Arnold being less less muscular in this movie, mostly because it's weird to see him in a movie where he's not nearly as shirtless as others. This man's
Yeah.
more. This is probably the movie where I've seen him the most clothed.
Honestly, I think you're right. Like, we don't do we have shirtless scenes of Arnie in this movie?
Not in this one.
Which is like a weird thing because normally, like,
This is some of the baggiest clothes I think I've seen him wear in a movie.
yeah.
Like he went into fucking the Predator movie with less fucking armor or any protective material. And he's wearing some of the baggiest like shirts that I've seen him wear. He has the full like was it a trench coat jacket? Was it long enough to be that?
I think you could consider it a trench coat. Yeah.
So it was just very weird to see. Very weird.
I will say like one like shot from this movie that I like it made me uncomfortable, but like not absolutely terrible was the guy with his eyes sewn shut.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, ugh.
I forgot he was in this.
Yeah, ugh, I don't like it. It made me uncomfortable.
Um, Honestly, what made me very uncomfortable was even more of the terrible CGI in this movie. It was that had some creative ideas where the one dude on the subway was telling Christine that she was gonna get something by the man. He like falls apart
Oh
like a
yeah,
vase.
he like shatters.
Yeah, cool idea. It just looked awful.
Oh, it does. It looks terrible. But I will say, one thing I will say about this. This like that scene in the subway with that guy that's like he's gonna get you. This like shows that this is like 90s and 2000s. What the hell is his hairstyle?
Oh yeah,
What
yeah,
the
no.
living fuck is going on?
Well, to be fair, I think he was supposed to just be kind of like some random crackhead from New York. I'll have to take a picture and ask one of our friends if this is what they look like, but
Yeah, that's true. We'll have to
but
send a picture to him, and then we can confirm whether or not crackheads look like that next week.
but uh no, it genuinely is just filled with that pre 2000s end of 90s fashion. And a part of me loves it, but a part of me hates to admit that I love it.
No, I get that because like the most normal dressed person in this entire movie is Jericho. Like, because he's just black long sleeve shirt,
Yeah.
pants,
And right
boots,
and,
jacket.
and right behind him is fucking Bobby. The only difference is Bobby wears a fucking hat.
Yeah, literally.
He looks
Um,
like he honestly looks like somebody who's from Chicago and moved to the city. So,
kind of does. Um,
um,
there's like overall, like I don't completely hate uh Arnold's acting in this movie. Like it's not the greatest, but it's not bad. I've the scene where he punches the mirror, I his facial expressions kill me.
yeah. Um, you know what the Razzie Awards are, right?
I believe so. Sounds
They
familiar.
give out They gave out like the worst actor, worst supporting
Yeah.
actor, worst director. Arnold Schwarzenegger was nominated for the worst actor in this film.
Nice.
Uh, Worst supporting actor was Gabriel Byrne. He was nominated for that one. And then Peter Hims got the worst director nomination. And the movie almost was going to be nominated for worst picture, but it was withdrawn shortly after the award ceremony, or shortly before the award ceremony.
Yeah, but I mean, like you look at it and it's uh, like even the stinker bad movie awards, Arnold Schwarzenegger got nominated for that worst actor too.
Like, it's, but that's the thing though. This is just a case of the role wasn't written for him, and it was written for someone else. But they're like, hey, who's still a big action star at this time to star in this blockbuster film? Schwarzenegger? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they were pretty much like, oh, he hasn't acted since Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. This can't be
Yeah.
that bad.
He
Even though
accepted
like
that
he
role.
specifically chose not to do not to do anything right after Batman and Robin because of how bad it was.
He chose that role, so I'm pretty sure he'll take this.
Yeah.
But it's such I don't hate this movie. That's the big thing I have to say. I don't hate this movie. I love it for how bad it is.
No, honestly, I understand that and I agree. Like I don't like this movie. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it. Like overall, it's a bad movie. But I enjoy it because it's bad.
Um, and speaking of the worst supporting actor, um, this is probably one of the worst depictions of the devil.
Yeah.
Man, the man is so petty. He literally the first thing he does when he the first thing he does after he possesses this man is he cops a feel and he just stares down the girl's husband or whatever she is. This he's into cucking people.
Yeah, no, he definitely is.
Because
Also,
later when he goes to the I'm not sure if it was a dream sequence or if it actually happened, but when he goes into his one follower's home, he sees his follower's wife and daughter. And then what does he do? He does. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be a dream or not for Christine, but you know what he does.
yeah. Honestly, like also talking about Gabriel Byrne, I don't recognize him from anything.
No, I don't either.
Like he's best known for The Usual Suspects, End of Days, Miller's Crossing, and Stigmata. I've
Yeah, no,
never heard of any of those. I've heard of The
I've,
Unusual Suspects.
yeah, the usual suspects. That's something I know and I have yet to see, but it's up there on the watch list. But I can't think of much else that I've seen him in. Um, like
I can't
especially of
think of
recent.
the only thing, like, this is gonna sound awful and gonna make me sound like a bitch, but I have a lot of sisters. The only, like, I'm looking at, like, the movies that he's been in. The only movie that I recognize, um, is Vampire Academy from 2014.
Mm. Yeah, he played the devil in this. He looks like the type that'd be playing an older vampire.
Did he play an older vampire in this?
I'm gonna
He
guess that's
he played Victor Dashkoff.
that sounds like a vampire name.
That does sound like a vampire name. Who the fuck is Victor Dashkoff? I need to know this now because it's gonna bug me. Victor Dashkoff is a royal Morai. No, he
Huh.
was not. He wasn't a vampire because it shows like his cause of death, and he was just beaten to death. So like I don't think he was a vampire in this.
Fair. Okay. But yeah, no, he is definitely not the greatest devil that I have seen in a film, but he gets the job done, you know. He
Yeah,
he seems menacing enough. Like they let him walk through the fire like two different times in this movie.
true.
Oh yeah, yeah. He all just after that him copying a feel, he just caused the entire restaurant that he was in to explode as he walks out.
This
I
man,
would really,
like,
I would like to like him maybe snap his fingers, like do something, but he just walked out.
and it just exploded. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like. It's little things like that that bugged me. Like that, he just walks out and it just explodes. Like what? Like give us something to go
Yeah,
off of.
at least later in the movie, we learn that he pisses gasoline.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting that to happen when he pulls around to start pissing. I was like, oh, he's gonna go kill Bobby. That makes sense. That makes sense. He's gonna have to give Arnold some motivation. I thought he was just gonna like go up and do it. Nope, he just like starts pissing like a couple feet away from the van, and his piss trail leads to the van perfectly in front of the driver's side door, so that when Bobby gets out of the car and he drops a cigarette on it, it just goes boom. It just go boom.
Like he either pisses fucking gasoline or that shit is just so potent that it's just flammable.
You know what it reminded me of? Did you ever watch the second Ghost Rider film with Nicolas Cage in it?
Yeah.
You remember the scene where the one kid asks him what does it look like when he pees when he's in the Ghost Rider form?
I don't remember that scene. It's been so
You
long
don't.
since I've seen that movie.
Oh my god, I'm about to show you it at some point, but it's just literally it's if he's pissing flamethrower, and that's all I could think of when watching that scene.
Oh my god. I mean that's
That is
fair.
all I could think of. That is the only thing in my head when watching that scene. Is like they could have done anything, but they did this.
They did he pisses gas.
Um, and going back to some of the not worst writing I've seen, but I don't even want to call it lazy, but they definitely weren't putting their best into this. Uh, Jericho finds out who Christine is way too fucking easily.
Yeah. He does. It's like every other movie that you have like your main protagonist that needs to find somebody, it takes some time. It does not take time in this movie.
He's just spouting off shit as they're walking down a hallway, and he's like, Chris, Christine, maybe Kyle, Christine, York, maybe or New York, maybe the last name's York, Christine York," and it's just like, no.
Yeah, like what the how did you get to that? Like okay, we live in New York. Our last names are not York. Like it makes no damn sense.
Ugh. And the more we watch some of these movies that take place like before the 2010s, makes me realize that they were just talking about taking Xanax a lot.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah, one thing
Like,
that I will say is like I know that there was a fair amount of like CGI in this movie, but like there was also some pretty decent practical effects.
yeah, no, there definitely was, especially like when they came in and found the tongueless dude on this like crucified up on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty neat little detail they did. I actually I quite like that one. Um, it was for a brief moment, but I definitely think it was practical when the one like cult member goes up to talk to the devil, and they basically failed at what they were trying to do. And his first reaction is just to turn around and punch the guy through the head.
Yeah. And then there's
Uh,
also the hand through the chest.
yep. Oh yeah, yeah. He did the Mortal Kombat style hand through the chest in the subway. That
Yeah.
was also that was also pretty neat, decent and cool.
Yeah. The falling onto the truck scene though.
Okay. Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But this. Oh God, I forgot about the him throwing him out the window.
Uh-huh.
Um. I usually talk about the cinematography on this show. I can't say much because this is definitely before action movies started doing those fucking snapshots to like so that way you couldn't really see all of what's going on. So you're kind of like getting all these images thrown just directly at you to make you think like I guess this is what happening. But this one didn't do it. So I think I can respect that this movie, but a lot of scenes were just way too dark. Like
Oh,
I could there was times I just couldn't see what was happening on the screen.
yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. There, like this, I understand like this movie is taking place like on New Year's Eve of like 1999. Like I get it, I understand, but like, come on, why is everything so dark?
Yeah,
Like it
it
doesn't
was
need to be that dark.
yeah. And I get that there was also one scene that I thought they were building up a lot of suspense to when they were going down to that basement where the excuse me, where that tongueless priest was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they were like kind of building up the attention as they were looking around the basement. I thought that was kind of cool. Because I was like, oh, sweet, we're gonna get like a little bit more suspense. It's kind of a new scenario to see a character like Arnold Schwarzenegger be put in, because you can't really say done anything like that since like the Predator movie. So
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like overall, like I don't know. This like it's not bad. We get a fair amount of like a little bit of suspense here and there in this movie, which is nice. Like having that
and
suspense.
then it's a cat that's the jump scare.
Yeah, the fucking
Also,
black cat that's just screaming.
yeah. Also, what's the cat doing in the fridge? And two, why is there just a photo of Christine in a jar in the fridge?
Because who knows?
Like
That's why.
I would expect his tongue, his cut off tongue, which Jericho found in a wall.
Yeah,
Why was that in the wall and the picture in the fridge?
yeah. No, they should have. That should have 100% been switched. The picture should have been in the wall. The tongue should have been in the fridge.
Like you can't tell me that wasn't like uh a fault on like the set designers or something, and it was the last minute like, oh, didn't walk up and like oh we put the things in the wrong way. I know we only have one take to do this, but we put them in the wrong areas.
Yeah. Like I don't know. It's just. Do we ever see like the inside of the mouth of the tongueless priest? I can't remember.
No, we don't. We do not.
No,
We just get told that he has no tongue, and then he tries speaking
and it's
to the
all
devil
yeah,
before he kills him, but he can't really say anything.
yeah. See, like I, it's so like when I think of like a tongueless character, I think of People Under the Stairs with the tongueless kid.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and like I think of that, and like how it looked because like you should like in that movie it was directed by Wes Craven. They show like inside the tongueless boy's mouth
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
you
I
see
do.
the
I do remember
severed
that.
tongue and I'm like
Yeah,
see it looks creepy and eerie and I fucking like that.
oh yeah, no, definitely that is nice. That's a good point of showing and don't telling
Yeah,
in People Under the Stairs. This is the exact opposite.
it really is because like we see that he doesn't have a tongue in People Under the Stairs but we don't like like we don't know that he doesn't have a tongue until after it is shown, and then the boy from People Under the Stairs is like, "Oh, you don't have a tongue." Like
Yeah.
that's how we learn about that. But this one, it's just like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't have a tongue." Like what? Okay.
Yeah, how did he
And
speak to you? He had no tongue.
any explanation for why he doesn't have a tongue? No, he just doesn't have one. Okay. Like,
Well,
come on.
we learned that he cut it out.
Yeah, but like,
Why?
why?
Why? We don't get explanations, okay?
No, we don't. And like I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like explanations in movies of like why these things are happening. The priest not having a tongue, that seems to be a fairly major plot point. There's a reason he doesn't have it. Like why did he cut it out?
Listen, this movie's full of plot holes, okay? Like like when Jericho first goes to that church, um, and they basically tell him to leave, and then the priest walks downstairs into their basement. No one's there to like watch make Jericho leave. He just walks downstairs, and nobody else tries to stop him before he reaches the bed where they have the Polish woman.
Literally. Nah,
And then the
he
guy's
should
like,
have. He should have just listened.
and then and then they just look at him like, "Oh, you shouldn't be seeing this. You must go. You don't have enough faith."
Like, okay, if you wanted him to leave, fucking make him leave. Like,
Escort him out. I don't know.
literally, it's not that hard.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
get that shit.
Speaking of that church, honestly, I was really digging Arnold's reactions where the priest was telling him like when he brought back uh Christine to the church to protect her.
Yeah.
And basically he's like, "Oh, you're not." He's like, "You're not safe here. We can't. We need to move. You need to keep coming with me." And the priest continues like, "You don't have enough faith to see how to get through this." And then it ends up being sort of the thing. I trust my Glock more than faith, and I'm just like,
Mm. Oof. Damn. You know what? I will give it to him. Trusting your Glock more than faith. The Glock can do damage.
And this just brings up a really good idea that it is such an American idea that the average Joe or someone close enough to the average Joe could just beat the devil
Oh yeah, absolutely.
because it's
I've always looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger as the average Joe. Built like a fucking shit brick house.
listen, that's why I said close enough, okay? Because it makes me think of the same idea as like, the devil went down to Georgia is such an American idea. Every other place in the world always talks about the devil as like unbeatable, unstoppable. He will condemn you to hell if you even attempt. Whereas we have these pieces of media, it's like the devil may be real and hell might be alive,
But you
but
can kick his ass.
I got a gun.
Yeah, literally. There's a lot of fucking like U.S. media that's like, you can beat the devil. Like,
It's just such an
if you got
American.
your Colt 45 and maybe a fucking 22 gauge, you can kill that motherfucker. Like, no,
His hounds may have three heads, but my double barrel do more than them.
my double barrel's got two heads and they bite, they don't bark. Like, what the fuck?
It is just so fucking hilarious to think about, and I love it. I do love it. Um, but Bobby being my favorite character, I think I wish we got to see a little bit more of him. He does come back, but I was wishing there would just be a little bit more of him before he died, because Arnold calls him his best friend, even though it just seems like they barely even know each other.
It's like, you're my best friend. And then,
I,
okay.
my best friend just died, and it's just like, Arnold, it seems like you were like wanting to like punch him most of this movie.
Kind of seems like you don't really care that much, bud.
And he gets over it really quick. After he just leaves Christine at the church, he just heads back home,
True.
and he killed at least one police officer because when he because he just had an extra pair of guns in his sleeves. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. They didn't even allude to that. I was like, he's putting his hands up. I'm like, I saw it coming. Like, he's like, he has guns like somewhere in his sleeve. How
Oh
he
yeah.
has them there, I don't know.
Duct tape is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, okay. He doesn't even you don't see him like put his hands in between there to take off the duct tape. He just throws his hands forward, and there are two extra Glocks.
Hey, like we said, there's a lot of plot holes in this bitch.
There is. The devil brings back the woman officer, the police, the chief. I think she was right.
The Detective Marge Francis, her,
Yeah, Detective
yeah,
Marge Francis. So she wasn't a chief, but she was
played by
what ends up
CCH Pounder.
Yes. I
That's
can't
one hell
really
of a
recognize
name.
her. I don't recognize her from much. I think
She,
RoboCop 3. That's
yep.
what I recognize her from.
She was
She
in
plays
RoboCop
Bertha.
3. She was in Avatar, and she was also in the Mortal Instruments movie from 2013.
Hmm. But
Interesting.
but yeah, so she did the role right. She wasn't a character I was expecting to be a part of the cult. At least not revealed that soon.
Yeah, I feel like what we said with Arnold Schwarzenegger finding out who Christine was super quick. We learn a lot of stuff really quick. Like a lot of stuff just gets outed very fast in this movie, and it's like, okay, we're not like alluding to anything anymore. It's just this is what it is. Okay.
Yeah, this is just happening.
Yeah, like okay,
But
no guessing for us. This is what's happening. We know this now. Great. Okay.
um and there's a lot of plot armor too on a couple events in this movie too. Specifically Arnold, he got thrown out the window first, and he was able to grab onto the ledge just barely, even though I'm pretty sure his hands should have been cut up more than just the single gash across him from the broken window.
You think?
I know.
Like his hands should have been shredded, dude.
Absolutely shredded. I don't know how he did it. I know it's plot armor, but like, Arnie, I don't know what you're doing to not have the police on you. I figured they'd be at your door as soon as you got home, and also gargling with fucking whatever liquor you were using after you brushed your teeth is a crime of it in it of itself.
Yeah, why like unless you're gargling with like Rumplemints or Ice 101, you should not be gargling. You
That
shouldn't
shit
be
was
gargling
whiskey.
liquor, period. But
I'm pretty
like
sure that was. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be whiskey.
yeah, that's awful. That's not okay. It's
It was funny though.
disgusting.
Um. Also, I feel like why was there no one else like worried about any? I guess it's New York, so that's probably a good enough explanation. But you'd figure somebody would be knocking on the door after gunshots were going off in the apartment room next door.
Nah, it's New York, like you said. It's fine.
Um, he shoots. He misses more shots in this movie than he makes. And then when
Yeah.
he does hit, it's on the devil and it is doing very little.
It's like taking a like it when he makes the shots and they actually hit the man. It's basically like taking a fucking BB gun to like a buck or some shit. Like it's not doing damage. It's just
Yeah,
gonna irritate them.
yeah, because he's firing a fucking grenade launcher at the goddamn dude, and that's basically just like hitting him with the fucking those SWAT guns that just shoot out those sandbags.
Pretty much.
That's the effect that it's having on the devil. It's more annoying than anything else to him. And another plot hole, or not plot hole, but another thing of an example of him and Christine having plot armor is when they disconnect the train cab, and then it starts going towards to hit and crash the other one. It just barely crumples and misses at where they're exactly standing in the goddamn cab.
Hey, come on, Robert. You and I have written short films before. You know that there's a lot of plot armor that comes in with fucking main characters.
I know, but like, I feel like there's things you could do. Like maybe have them jump off of the cab. I mean, it'd be a bit more realistic to see him survive that than hit the than have it crash into the fucking cab in front of him.
Well, yeah, I agree, but you know, plot armor.
And before that too, Arnold Schwarzenegger is just the best at giving gun tutorials.
Only shoot this when you need to.
Like that. Exactly.
Yes. Good job. Like, what the fuck,
Um,
man?
and before that scene, we get to see after Christine is actually I gotta go back a few more things. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger gets crucified in this movie. Like actually crucified.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He gets his ass kicked by the cult members. The devil just leaves him alive, which is very out of character because he didn't do it to anybody else.
Yeah, no, the more fucking plot armor. Like this dude is clearly the person that is after you the most right now. Why wouldn't you kill him?
Exactly. And your first thought is to just be like, all right, we're gonna crucify him. So I guess Arnold is Jesus in this movie.
Yes.
Jer- Jericho is Jesus
Jericho the Jesus man.
because he essentially because he gets brought back down by I'm not sure how they get him down because that's another thing. I feel like the priest that found him, the bald one,
Yeah, the
who
father what the fuck was his name? Father something. Father Kovac,
yeah
played by Rob
um
Steiger.
yeah he just like sees him up there and he's like, well, I had enough time to get changed this morning and put on a new outfit and a hat. I
Yeah.
guess I'll climb up there and get the man who probably weighs 150 pounds more than me.
I mean, so speaking of Rob Steiger, the guy that played Father Kovac, this was actually one of his last movies that he did.
Oh.
He passed away in 2002. There was like one, two, three, four, five. There were six movies released after End of Days that he was in. Um, but this is still like within the last 10 movies that he made.
Yeah, he seemed like a busy man with 150 credits to his name.
Oh yeah, and a lot of them are from. A lot of them like these came out the same year. Like, I don't
Oh
mean like
yeah,
all of them came out at the same time, but like he had one, two, three, four movies
Fo-
come out in just the year that you and I were born.
yeah,
And then like 98 to 90 98 to 2000 there's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 different projects that he was in.
yeah. So it is really cool to see that someone like him was able to carry over from different eras of film.
Oh,
Like 'cause a lot of
absolutely.
a lot of his bigger movies are before the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm seeing here In the Heat of the Night from 67, On the Waterfront from 54, The Pawnbroker from 64, and then Duck You Sucker from 71. So
Yeah.
he definitely was in that, like, I'm not sure what era of Hollywood you would call that, but I guess like close to that spaghetti western time.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean his first acting credit is for this thing called Actors Studio. It's a TV series. And it's from 1950. He was in one episode of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see, So it's one thing. It's gonna feel weird when we're older and we're seeing actors like, I don't know, Tom Cruise for some reason because he's still gonna be getting roles probably to the end of time.
I mean
And
I mean more than likely so will Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he was in something last year. Like he
was it
was in it.
was it
Yeah, he was in a TV show called Secret Level. He was the voice of King Storm.
Storm? Huh.
And I mean he was also in the Agent State Farm short from last year.
Oh yeah,
What
the
the
Super Bowl.
fuck?
That was the State Farm Super Bowl ad, I
Oh
believe.
yeah, it was. Oh my god. And the fact that he was in it with Danny DeVito.
Hey man, you got to reference twins anytime possible.
Literally. But yeah, no,
Uh,
it's definitely like, seeing like when we're old, like when we're older, and we're seeing like people that or actors that we watched growing up, sadly passing on. It's definitely like it's gonna be crazy to like look at it because like a lot of the actors that you know are big right now, they're big for a reason, and we have all this like all these memories of watching them when we were younger, and like all that's gonna change.
Yeah, no. So like, I'm just saying, I can't wait for when kooky Tom Cruise becomes kooky old man Tom Cruise,
You know
and we
what?
get
That's
to watch
fair.
him. We get to watch him doing another Mission Impossible in his freaking late 60s into his 70s, doing all of his own stunts still.
Yeah. Except that time it won't just be like a, oh, I sprained my ankle jumping from a roof. It'll be like, oh, I shattered my hip from
Yeah,
walking
I'm
down
really
a flight of stairs.
yeah, essentially, but it's still gonna be a ride to watch. Uh, but this, and then after the crucifixion scene, we got to get back on topic here. Uh, we get to then see the cult gather around in this watch party is the best way I could put it.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
like they all just about to watch the man uh, start doing some things to Christine. Luckily, it doesn't start. It does not start because Jericho just pops out, and then poor Bobby gets the worst end of the stick because the man brought him back to life after being blown up, and he just couldn't shoot Jericho,
Yeah.
and Jericho does nothing as the man walks up to Bobby and puts him back on fire.
Hey,
Are you sure he was your best friend?
yeah, obviously he was his best friend. He watched him get put on fire. Like, you know, only best friends do that. I would watch you get put on fire, Robert.
Aw,
Just like I
damn.
know that you would, that you, like, if I was trapped under ice and I was drowning, you would give me a good wave.
I would like knock on the ice to see if I could crack it at least.
I feel like you'd like try to, like, you'd like lift your leg up and like try to like kick down at it. But like if it couldn't crack after like two kicks, you just kind of like sit there and be like, "Hi, I'm sorry. There's
Oh,
nothing I can do." Like,
oh no.
I'll miss you. Can I have your computer?
I tried the best I could.
Is your Steam logged in? I want your games. Like,
Oh, and it this movie just gets to a point where you just shut your brain off, if
oh
you have
yeah.
no idea what you're going into
I'm
and
gonna
you're
be
just
completely honest, dude. I don't fully remember the end of this movie because
well,
by the time I got to the end of this movie, I was just so brain dead. I was like, "What the fuck is happening now?"
basically Jericho saves Christine from the watch party. Uh they go down to the subway where we see the bullshit fucking train wreck that doesn't do anything to either of them. And then they end up at a different church that Jericho just starts shooting in.
Yeah,
Well, he
that
shoots in the
honestly,
air to
that
get people
sounds
to
like his
leave.
character.
He just starts shooting in the air to get people like, get out of here.
Get out of here now! Go to the chopper. Get the fuck out.
Essentially.
Nah, it's just like I overall like we said at the beginning of this episode, I like this movie is so bad that I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like not enjoyed it
But
enough that I will care to waste another 2 hours of my life watching it again.
this is going to be one of those things where I put it on as like, there's a big group of people. I need something stupid to put on when we're all inebriated and to be like, all right.
You know what? That's fair. But like no, so another thing, going back to how we learn everything like fairly quickly of what's going on. This movie has a 2 hour and what is it? 2 hour 2 minute runtime?
Yeah. Yeah.
Two
If you
hours
cut
and
out,
2 minutes, and we like learn everything in the first like 45.
yeah, no, it essentially expo dumps everything on you in the first act of this film so that everything else in the second and third act is like, all right, can they stop the devil from banging this woman and causing the gates of hell to open because that's how it works in this universe.
Yeah, can you stop him from conceiving a child between 11 o'clock and midnight?
uh yeah, that's we kind of forgot to inform you guys. That's what happens. The gates of hell will open after the devil has
It,
sex with Christine,
yeah, if
and
the
as
if
long as he does
well,
it, He has to do it within the hour
within
before
the hour,
midnight.
and they have to conceive a child.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he's got to impregnate her between the hours of 11 and midnight. Whether that's,
Yes.
1 hour long session or multiple couple minute sessions. I don't think it matters.
I don't even want to think about it.
I don't either, but it's in my head because my brain is weird.
But but after getting to the church, and we have been shown that him using the grenade launcher, I think he might have been out of the grenades. He should have packed more. Um, was actually doing some effective work against the devil when he was inside the body of the human, because the devil wasn't able to start regenerating, and he had to leave the body, which I think he would have met, even if he did get to do what he wanted to. He messed up his own plans at that point.
Yeah.
Um, he then possesses Jericho because Jericho just threw his gun away. He looked up at some statues in the church, like, and he started praying to God.
Yeah, like all of a sudden he has more faith in faith than his Glock.
God damn it!
Also, there's one other scene that I want to bring up because I just find this scene really funny. When oh god, what was Jericho walking through? He was walking through an area and like he was holding his Glock and just started spinning in circles, like looking around. But the way that he was spinning around, all I could think about was that TikTok audio of like the "I'm spinning like a ballerina." And I'm like that's just what came into my head when I saw it, and I just started laughing.
But yeah, and after he gets possessed, he then attempts to like the devil inside of Jericho's body attempts to complete the ritual, but Jericho's able to fight back because he has enough faith, and he sacrifices himself on a piece of a sword. Which I'm not sure. I've been to a couple Catholic churches. I haven't seen any of the statues holding real swords.
No. I've been to a couple Catholic churches as well. They are not holding real swords. They are like stone, but even the stone would have stabbed him. So I don't know why they gave the statues real swords.
Yeah, but Jericho does the sacrificial dolphin dive right onto the sword.
Yep.
It literally. You want to know what I thought about? You ever watch the video for fucking Creed? Uh, Not Arms Wide Open, but ain't the fucking 6 feet.
Yeah.
Ain't so far gone.
It's funny that you bring that up because last night I was streaming with one of my friends and we were singing that song while we were playing our game.
Hold me now, cause
I'm
I'm
six
6
feet from the edge and I'm thinking.
maybe 6 feet. Ain't so far gone.
Yeah, in case you guys couldn't tell, Robert and I love music and we adore Creed.
I do. I don't know what you're talking about. There's actually an alternate ending to this film too. Basically plays out the exact same. It's mostly like an extended ending, but God essentially removes the sword from Jericho's body and then heals his wounds to bring him back to life. That was an alternate ending. I haven't seen footage of it. Maybe it's out there. I rented this through streaming.
So did
I didn't
I.
have access to that, so I couldn't watch the
Yeah,
um
Rob, if we got the other ending, if we got that ending and like, God removed the sword and healed him and he was all better, I feel like he'd be like, "Oh, I can't do a good Arnold Schwarzenegger," but I feel like he'd basically be like, "Oh, yeah, God healed me. I still have more faith in my Glock." Like,
no. I think here's the thing though. They had him like as he put his head up after like jumping on the sword, he saw like after the devil went away, he saw his like dead wife and dead daughter, which we skipped over that plot point entirely. He had a family, they got murdered.
that's why he's a
Uh
drunk.
that's why he's a drunk. That's all you relatively need to know. He sees them. Imagine his reaction after being brought back to like, I thought I was with them.
I thought I was with my family. And then I feel like he'd do that and then be like, all right, bang, and then just, remove himself from the equation.
You son of a bitch. And then immediately the sequel exists and it's him going on a God of War path against
Yeah,
God.
going against God, he becomes the Kratos of this world. Oh my god.
Zeus,
Zeus!
why have you forsaken me?
God, that would actually be really funny. I want a like live action God of War movie where freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Kratos.
Oh, don't
God,
change the accent. Keep the accent.
keep Arnold Schwarzenegger's accent.
Zeus,
Zeus, get to the
why have you
chopper.
put? Why have you portrayed me?
Oh my god, that would be funny as hell. God, let's make a pitch. And he's getting like Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting older, so like he could easily play like older Kratos.
Boy.
Boy. Oh my god. Wait, but like if he were to, who would play Atreus?
That'd be funny just because it's a thing. Chris Pratt is his son-in-law. Can we just like use AI de-aging effects on Chris Pratt?
Oh my god. That would be amazing. That would be so funny. Boy, yes, father. Oh, that would be priceless.
It would be funny. It would be funny. But
Alright.
I think that's all we have for today, folks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all we got. Let's end on God of War. So, Robert, what's your rate of this movie?
I guess as long as I have a good Glock on my side and some faith, I'm gonna give this movie, and I'm breaking out the -10 to 10 scale. I'm giving this movie -6 Arnold Glocks out of 10.
You know what? I'll give this a -5 from -10 to +10. I'd give it a -5 Glocks out of 10. Uh it could have been worse like I said, but it could have been better.
Oh yeah,
And
no, it could have been. We got enough out of this movie that I think there's going to be a couple of jokes down the road.
oh, 100%. So, what's your survival rate? Like what's
Like I
your
said, if I had
Oh, that was
if
for
there was,
both of them?
yep, if I had enough faith, not in God but in my Glock,
You know
you
what?
damn know I'm surviving.
You know what? I feel like I agree with you, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going a Bobby route. I'm getting thrown into fire.
No, no, not thrown. You're getting pissed into fire.
I'm gonna be thrown into fire. I feel like he would throw me and then piss fire. But all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this end of Arnold Schwarzenegger's fighting the devil, I guess. Um, be careful as you make your way out of the graveyard, and make sure you make your way back next week as we dive into our next sacrifice. I don't know.
Yeah.
uh, be careful. Don't trip over the gravestones on your way out, and please don't like track mud. We're trying to keep this place kind of clean.
Yeah. And make sure you watch out for those weird folks on subway stations. Apparently they're just fucking crazy as hell. And they break apart, so
That's true. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
good night, everybody.